Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome. In the back, oh, y'all can't see it. I just recently downloaded again Near Automata Replicant. Last time I played it was like 2017. I finally got into Horizon again. I couldn't play it because Horizon Zero Dawn. I couldn't play it because my cataracts were starting to develop, and I couldn't tell the difference between the snow and the reticle. So it was impossible for me to aim the bow, girl. And people was just going in on me. Last time I played that was 2017. So insert games from 2017. Apparently, I just got off of a call or off a little Zoom meeting. I'm like, I don't know how to share my screen. I don't know how to do this. But wasted a good 2 minutes of my precious time. Um, and it was interesting. I feel like, in general, and this may just be me rambling. This is me rambling. So if you don't want to watch a ramble, then don't keep watching. Just don't. Um, who is this? Oh, I'll leave it a mystery. And I feel like in general, like I'm pretty good in recognizing the things within myself that I value. Like I'm pretty good at recognizing my skills, but not that great at marketing them. I rely more on like exposition or being able to talk to somebody to relay that information more so than just like putting it all out on a piece of paper for people to judge me. I'm talking about my resume. And there are certain things that I guess I think are understood or inherently understood, certain things that I don't think I should need to mention. But talking to the dude I was talking to, it's like some of that stuff isn't necessarily known. So it's good to highlight it. It's good to illuminate it. It's good to sort of remind people, I guess, of all the things that you can't say. So actually, y'all thought I was about to do this. I'm about to multitask because I need to schedule another appointment for Monday or for the next available time so that I can actually fix my resume and then um, talk about it again. And he was like, I don't know if you've seen the handbook, but it's all on the handbook. I was like, I know. I've been on the handbook. I want it to be unique. I want it to be special. I want it to be different. And I wanted my resume to reflect that. And he's like, yeah, no. He's like, typically, it's more professional if you do this. It's more professional if you do that. I'm like, well, screw what's professional, darn it. I wish. But I guess, before you can change the game, you got to log in or do whatever. Um, and so, one second. Oh, which one is this? I think it's this one. Um, and so, yeah, it was really interesting, I guess, because whenever I do something, I like to put a bit of my personality in it. And what I did, like, he was like, oh, I want the same dude. What was his name? He was cool, and I think he had a little bit of an accent. It almost sounded South African, and I only know the South African accent because one of my biochemistry, I think, professor was from South Africa. And I was like, "What is this accent? Like, it's not Australian. It's not like your standard British." I was like, it feels neither Australian nor British. What is this? And then he was like, in South Africa, we had one textbook for the whole class and we had to share. And I was like, oh, okay, so he's South African. Cool. Got it. Um, this doesn't, oh, it does. Nice. Uh, I could have totally done this after, but it's fine. Um, Girl, no. Are you only available on Fridays? Get out. Leave. That's so upsetting. Thank you for going through this with me. But I like that the whole time he was talking to me, he was also validating me, which I appreciate immensely. Because when I showed him my resume, I didn't even say like I was just like, oh, I was trying to do something different. I guess I did kind of sort of say that. But when I showed him my new resume and my old resume, he was like, I like this format better. You have more space to actually talk about everything and it's more professional. And then if you want to keep some of that personality, and I was like, oh, girl, you know me. Wait. He's like, then if you want to keep some of that personality, you could always incorporate some of those colors because it's a dark blue. I have a dark blue. Midnight blue is my favorite color. But if you ask me what my favorite color is, I might forget. I might forget that it's midnight blue. Just like if you ask me what my favorite word is, I might forget. So, oh, I should have left on send me an email. It's fine. So my appointment is created. Cool. Um, and so got it. Thank you. And so he was like, you can still keep that there. And I don't know, it was just really affirming, I guess. And I know that it's gonna be I'm glad I'm a dreamer. I'm glad I'm not realistic. It must be hard. Well, life is, I don't know if life is necessarily any easier when you're constantly expecting the miraculous or the wonderful or just something to happen, and it rarely does. But I'd still rather live life that way than to be anything else. Um, was this it? I'll give this three more. This is way more than three, but it's fine. Let's see. Let's see. What is that? Bubblegum? Okay. So three cards came out. Adaptive materialization, a murky-minded will, clouded vision, four of hearts, six of hearts, maximizing or minimizing limitation or support. Look to the root. I don't know what this video is about. Apparently it's just going to be me talking. Um, but I guess in general, because I love to be a little bit metaphorical, um, it is a thing about, I'm going to try, right? We're going to stretch this Mercury and Pisces retrograde in the 12th house. Because I guess if you think about it, the law of attraction manifestation, it's kind of sort of like interviewing and putting your resume out there, right? And there are certain things that we wish for, there are certain things that we desire. But if we don't market ourselves to, because it's all resonance and it's about like energy and resonance. And if we don't position ourselves, market ourselves as resonant to a certain energy, then it's almost like, regardless of how badly you want it, regardless of how many affirmations and meditations you do, it's going to make it more difficult to get it because it doesn't find that harmonic sort of point within you or within your frequency. Right. And so in this case, and I kind of sort of love it, it's less about, it's just more about like emphasizing the correct things. And it's about ordering, it's about structuring, it's about coloring yourself with black and white. And maybe I was trying to maybe I was trying to accommodate for maybe that's how I was trying to like inject some personality by putting in some color and doing some interesting things with my resume because it looked cool, it looked good, I liked it. I could see how it wasn't professional, and I guess that's important because I guess I don't know, I don't want somebody to be like, who is this clown, like get this resume out of here. um but I'm trying to find the disology list of what these numbers mean. But I think maybe like instead of me trying to do that in the formatting, I can do it in other ways. And I'm extremely capable. I have very relevant experiences when it comes more to like classes and things that I've done in academia rather than my actual like professional experiences. And again, it's an energy of highlighting. It's an energy of accentuating. I love that word. It sounds so sensual. It's an energy of accentuating the things that we want to accentuate in order, again, to appear more energetically attractive, literally attractive, to attract more to us what we want. And I think sometimes in that editing process, I guess this with this full moon in Taurus coming up, with this full moon in Scorpio coming up, super pink moon. I actually want to see. Oh, if the podcast episode is up. Episode 6 of the podcast goes up today, guys. We talked about the full moon and not yet. We talked about the full moon in Scorpio. In Scorpio. So, oh snap! It is up. It's up. Super full moon in Scorpio, releasing fear and negativity. I hope y'all's like change because I'm just constantly giving my 2 cents. Oh, wow. We got the 9 of clubs and the 9 of diamonds in reverse. That's like 9 of wands upright, 9 of pentacles in reverse. An accurate depiction. Oh, okay. Ooh. Carbs. Oh my gosh. I need to fix the typos in this. But I'm like, if I reprint this, I might as well redo the messages or like do a different version. There is a sort of follow through. So the first line in the 9 of diamonds is an accurate depiction. The first line in the 9 of wands is stripped bare. I know it's reversed. And then we have a true to life tale versus a game of charades. Liquid light that carves its way through night and a day with no mirrors. There's actually the sun on this one. So on this one, it's the sun and the moon. There's the sun, the moon, and Capricorn here with the solar plexus and the element of water. And then on the other one, my brain is semi-functional. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? No, it can't be right. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It's the 5. Okay, it's 5. It's the 5 of essences. The 5 of essences with the high priestess, the crown, the throat. No, with the throat, the third eye, the element of fire, and Libra. And so here, and then being between worlds, a vision brought to life, choices that require foresight and communication is at the bottom. And so in general, it is almost a retelling of us. It is almost a re-editing. It's not it's an edit. Again, it's in a way that emphasizes or accentuates certain things. And it's not that it does it in a deceptive way, or it's not that it does it in a way that, why demystify? It's not that it's done in a way that's deceptive. It's that as human beings, we're sort of like infinitely complex and complicated, paradoxical creatures, right? And there are multiple sides to us in a lot of ways. And so it's about in a certain situation, and I think that's the 5 of essences, because again, the essence is about the combination of different solar parts. Hey Zelda, how you been? It's like the combination of different solar parts that you are in that moment, right? So we're always us, but sometimes, well, unless if you're a mutable sign, then you're probably more. There's probably more of a difference, a distinction between some different parts of you. But it's about balancing it out. And so this editing, this marketing, this field of resonance or establishing a resonance is about sort of again, it came up yesterday or the day before with the soundboard, and it's about dialing up, dialing down, tuning the treble, the bass, to really find the harmony. It's almost like tuning radio, but in the tuning of the radio, it's actually more of a complete adjustment, and it's the aspect of us that best fits the moment or that best fits the energy. And I think that's why this Nine of Diamonds came out in reverse, because it's not an accurate depiction. It's like whatever we're presenting isn't an accurate depiction of the fullness of our capabilities. Now, with the card of stripped bare, game of charades in a day with no mirrors, this feels a little bit more like it's almost a facade, but it feels more like who we think we need to be in order to be in whatever space we want to be in order to get whatever job, get whatever person, fit in societally or whatever, to be spiritual, to be woke. It's like, well, what are woke people into? What do woke people sound like? What's the woke lingo? What are the buzzwords that I could use? Like, I'm a vegan now. And you can be vegan and be woke and whatever. Um, but it's more like, what is more performative? What is more of the mask? What is more of the It's not charade. The word charade is coming into my mind, but it's reminded me of like somebody in like festival, carnival, sort of like Rio get up, Rio de Janeiro festival, Mardi Gras, a caricature maybe? Not necessarily caricature. And it creates this story that isn't necessarily true to life because it overly accentuates. Yeah, it's a caricature. We become a caricature of ourselves to overly accentuate the things that we really want to like put out there so that we're seen a certain way. But energy doesn't work on appearances, it works on resonance. And again, that's why it feels like with this five of essences, with these internal changes to how we sort of structure ourselves, if you think about it, it's like you are the water and you're sculpting a vessel for that water to be in, right? Like, what kind of cup? Do you want to be a martini glass? Do you want to be a shot glass? Do you want to be a goblet? Do you want to be one of those like tankards? Um, and a lot of times, depending on the glass, we make assumptions about the drink, right? You could probably assume that somebody isn't drinking apple juice if they're holding like a shot glass or a martini glass, right? And a lot of people, you pour your vodka or your clear alcohol in a water bottle and you take it to class, and then no one knows you're drinking, even though everyone can smell the alcohol. Um, it's something like that. But it feels like we're not doing it in a way that really benefits us. We're not doing it in a way that really shows the truth of who we are. This murky mind or will, clouded vision, four of hearts at the bottom. What is 47? This is air, the third eye, the sacral chakra, Gemini, the hangman, and the scholar of earth, and the scholar of earth. So 11. What's 11? Um, and so that scholar of earth, I feel like that's the energy of like the appearance that we're trying to wear to navigate or to be granted access to certain realms or whatever. And it is almost an energy of being rather than seeming. 4 plus 7 is 11. Oh, 47. Yeah. And I think it's that 5 of essences. 5 is a number of change, but it's a number like 5 being between the 4 and the 6. 4 offers a certain stability. But with the 5, maybe it's something that we don't fully anticipate. And it's because of that we're open to it's almost like we're forced open. At the 4, we're too reserved. It's like a typical 4 of Pentacles energy. But then something happens and you're cracked open. And you're like, oh, wait, there's more. And so with the 4 of Essences, it's like we thought we found like a flow. We thought maybe we found a place or a space to be in. Like emotionally, we were maybe fulfilled. And it feels like there were maybe shadows of things that didn't quite please us or that didn't quite fulfill us or that there was a leak somewhere. And we ignored it for whatever position we were in. And then at the 5, it's like, oh, yeah, no, like I have to change something. And it's a formulation of the self. I feel like, well, that's an energy that's been here. And so then it becomes like, how can we live more of an energetic truth of who we are? And it's like there are many things that we can be known for. There are many gifts and abilities that we can have. And it is a little bit almost of like, well, how do you want to be seen through this through the space of like, well, how do you want to represent yourself? And it's the way that you represent yourself that attracts things to you or that repels things from you. And like the way you represent yourself, it's different than a role that you play or a mask that you wear. Because again, like with the stripped bare upright, but the accurate depiction in reverse, it's like it's not that it's fake. It's not that it isn't you. It's just that like you're not bringing the right skills. You're not bringing the right talents. You're not bringing the right energies to the situation. And so it's making you appear as if you aren't ready for things that you are very much so ready for. That you aren't healed enough to embark upon the things that you very much so are healed enough for. And so energetically, like while you are ready, it's almost like you're putting out these signals to the universe of like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And spirit is trying to maybe push you in some ways with that 5 of essences energy. It's trying to show you how you're more than what you're limiting yourself to. With the 4 that, you're being coaxed out of. But it feels like your narrative is so strong that it keeps you in this almost out of phase space. It's like this little pocket universe that you exist in when you can experience the realm of your abundance fully. Um, and, at the end of the day, our free will is honored. And so if we say not yet, then the spirit's gonna listen. The universe will listen. You won't get it, even though you're ready for it, even though you want it, even though you're manifesting it. And I think that also goes to like how sometimes our actions and our thoughts and our words, ooh, a shift in the wind, a leaf caught in an eddy, the birth of a new language, still on the table. It's like our words say something, but our actions and our thoughts and everything else within us, our beliefs say something else. I don't know. I guess if I could say anything, it would just be that like you're ready. The version of you that isn't ready, that's what's not accurate. Operating as a unified whole. I love that. Queen of Spades. Living the example and a heart that shines from the depths of the soul. 34 9 11 4 6 4. That is heart. That is fire. That is Aquarius. It is the Hermit. And it's also, oh, thank you, Zelda. It's also Oh, it's the teacher of essences with the 34. So the Queen of Spades is coming out as the teacher of essences. Queen of Spades with the King of Hearts in reverse. Love that. A decision that once made cannot be rescinded. A wise king who settles an impossible dispute, operating in divine order. Operating in divine order, operating as a unified whole. Now, this one was in reverse. I don't know if I necessarily take these in reverse because I can only read them when they're upright. I could read them upside down, but that's too much work. This may be in reverse because the decision hasn't necessarily been made. And I love that it's a 3 and a 5 because both the 3 and the 5 are numbers of change. 3 is catalytic change. The 3 is something that's going to happen to you to change you, but it in and of itself will remain the same. In some ways, 3 could be the number of the narcissist and the narcissist empath relationship because, the narcissist will drain and drain and drain, but at the end of the day will probably not change as much. The empath will be the one that feels the effects of that. And if a narcissist drains an empath enough, they'll learn to be a narcissist to somebody else. It's funny how that works, right? We become that which we dread and fear the most. We become our own nightmare. Um, but I feel like once a sort of decisiveness has come into King of Cups, King of Hearts, this is the sage of essences, whereas the Queen of Essences is right here in the 34. So there is a Queen of Hearts energy here, hidden under the Queen of Spades, or hidden within the Queen of Spades. And the King of Hearts, like that's the Emperor, it's the Lovers, it is Libra, it's the transmissive crown, the heart space, and the element of water. The Queen of Swords has been coming out a lot. But I don't know if there's a king that's been coming out necessarily as much. But what I love between these two, it's operating as a unified whole and operating in divine order between the both of these. On one side, it's someone who's an educator, adjudicator. I think adjudicator is the word I want. He makes the decisions, and so for him, wisdom is important. On her side, it's like his convincing is a court, and it's like it's locked to a certain jurisdiction. But hers, it's her whole life because she lives it and because she's seen as that. I don't know. It's just more of tuning the dials within self to make you. It's more of a fine tuning energy, and that's. I mean, in my own healing journey, I've hit moments of fine tuning. Like there have been points in my journey where it's like these huge realizations, or it's me working and actively healing something, working through fear, working through trauma, working through apathy, maybe in some areas. And in other sides, it's like things slow down, but you're like fine tuning or honing, or you're putting together all of these different healed pieces and rearranging them and combining them in ways that build up sort of bigger pieces or that increase your foundation. And this feels more like fine tuning. It feels more like it's like after you begin to see that you are enough for, that you've healed enough for, whatever is in front of you now, you can begin the process of making those sort of little adjustments along the way, making those little choices and those little decisions in the day to day that have the power to impact your experience as a whole. And the teacher of essences, I love that for that Queen of Swords, and that's probably why I put living the example. Um, but it's an energy of like someone being unified within themselves, being healed within themselves, and they don't have to tell anybody what they're doing. People see that and they are sort of inspired by it to do the same, or they go to her and they ask her, right? because it's not necessarily something that you can be certified in, even though there are plenty of certifications out there. But again, in this space, it's almost like it feels like a certification doesn't matter. Well, I don't know why the school of hard knocks. Sometimes I feel like I've seen that on Facebook or something. And people's education, it'll be like the school of hard knocks or whatever. Um, and it is a hard knock life for a lot of people in different ways. Um, but it's almost like, navigating that and coming through it is sort of the certification. It's more practice than theory. The Queen of Spades is more of the practice, which is interesting because Queen of Spades, you think Queen of Swords, it's more about the reason and the analytics, but it's more about the practice. Um, and with the King of Hearts, that's more about the theory in that space of like judgment, because it's not as if like when we sit in the space of judging, we only know so much. And it almost carries that energy of like, if you really get to know almost anybody, you can excuse them for almost anything. Because, life does stuff to us in ways that we're not necessarily accountable for, but we're accountable for the ways that we respond and react because of what happened in life. But you could be someone who's like, oh, I would never steal, I would never do this, I would never do that. And then if your life changes significantly enough, like there you are doing it. Right. And that's why the King of Cups feels more like theory than practice. I don't know. That's what I got. I don't know what that was. I'm gonna work on my resume this weekend because I am a lot more capable than it shows me to be. I'm extremely capable. And the way I structured it, it's like you wouldn't see it. And honestly, the way I've lived my life in a lot of ways, I think a lot of people wouldn't see how capable I am. I think people would see my resilience, people would see my strength. It took me a while to see my resilience. What people noticed about me the easiest, it took me the longest to see because I was like, I'm a depressed mess, and it's not like I have a choice but to continue trying. Like, what am I gonna do? Go home? Am I gonna quit after all this time? And I could have, because there are a lot of people who do. So now I can see my resilience, but there is so much more to me, and it's really time for me. Speaking of making yourself energetically, not viable, attractive. There's ways that I need to begin to act and be and do in like real life to more lay the foundation for those energies to come in. And it's perfect because this Scorpio full moon is happening in my sixth house, the house of daily routines and stuff like that. So it couldn't have come at a better time, I guess. But that's what I got. I hope you have a good whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. There's so much that's so possible right now, but it does require. I feel like in some ways it requires more of us now than it did before, and it doesn't feel like it's gotten harder necessarily. It just feels like there was a lot of spiritual or energetic hand holding, honestly, maybe even some coddling. And it's like, well, now that everything's shifting, now that we're officially coming into this age of Aquarius, now that the world is in a space of transformation, the world has gone through a death process and is currently going through a death process, and in some ways always going through a death process. But it's like it's not that we can't be coddled anymore, but it's that like if we continue to be coddled as much as we were in the past, we wouldn't be able to rise to what we are capable of rising to in these times. So I will continue to rise in my life, and you continue to do the same in yours because we deserve it.